So few damn pigs out here, I had to bring my own. Alrighty y'all, I'm set up out here in the woods and I'm gonna talk to y'all a little bit about how I like to choose trees and stuff. And I'm not really in the woods, I'm that far from the road, but it's a good safe spot to take some shots out here. So I figured I'd show you what I look for in a tree to set up with and a few factors to consider. Alright, so we're going through the woods here, and what I'm looking for in a tree is, first off, the right diameter for my climber. This tree, you think it's nice because it's nice and tall, no limbs, but then there's not too much of a backdrop directly behind it, and it's kind of out in the open. So especially in places where deer look up, they're going to be looking up and you're going to stick out like a sore thumb. Pine trees are one of my favorite to climb if you find the perfect diameter, because they're nice and soft and your climber grips in good. But thinner ones will bend in windy days and it's never a really fun, enjoyable thing to do. Now these trees look good, but then as you go up you can see the bark starts to peel off. So I don't even mess with these. Now the main ones I like are these oak trees right here. These are usually a good size. You can do like a thumbnail test and see if your climber is going to bite. Some of them have a really hard bark and some don't, so you can kind of choose. But so you can see behind me, the reasons I'm choosing it are, one, it goes up and it has a slight angle back, which is usually a type of tree I like a little better, just from experience. And also we have all this branch to our right and the backdrop right behind us. That's all, dark wood. It's not green background, so you'll blend in a little bit better. Alrighty, so for the sake of this video, I'm gonna have a quiver full of arrows so I don't have to keep climbing up and down. So main thing I was always concerned about starting out is how much noise I'm making in the woods. And you find that deer really don't care if they're not threatened by you. And if you walk into a spot, there's a chance that you're not even close to any deer at the moment if you time the spot right. But just minimal metal noises, but you're not going to be able to escape them with these climbers. So you can be quiet, but it's never going to be as quiet as you would like. And that's one reason the metal noises and keeping it quiet is one reason I really like this orange strap, because it has one piece of metal and I can keep it away from the rest of my stand. And then I'll move my foot pedals up a little bit here, get my strap off here, and what you can do is just set this down. I like doing the top strap, or the top portion of the seat first. And I know that I'm gonna need a little extra, so I pull up that side. Then what you want to do is judge how conical the tree is, and it doesn't seem like it's too bad, right? So I'll shoot for just a little above level. Right there is good for me. Cool, get that out of the way. Shoot for the same thing with this one. See how we fit? And it looks good for me. Now this tree, you can see here, is as big as I would get on any setup, because you only have two teeth digging in, but you see once I get just slightly up, it already makes a difference. So gonna move down, move this down. Always tie the top of your climber to the bottom of your climber. You will regret it if you don't. I hunt with a saddle setup from a climber, which is kind of different, but it's a nice balance I've found, and it's in my budget. So get around the tree. One thing that's nice to do too is wherever you're climbing, make sure you get your bow and stuff on your bow rope. Make sure it's clipped to you, however your system is, and you have it set up to where it won't go clacking around and making a bunch of ruckus up the tree. So I'll set it up like right here, so I know whenever I climb up, it'll be perfect. So now it's time to get up in the tree. And with climbers on wider trees, it's common to have to get up in these things kind of weird. As you can see, my feet are now in my climber. And now we're going up the tree. Especially when you're new and your body's not really used to doing this, in early season, definitely be a little bit cautious about how quickly you climb. Because you'll get out of breath, your adrenaline's pumping because you're not used to the heights. And you're just figuring it out. And no one says how high you gotta be up here. That's why the better trees you find have better backdrops at lower heights. So it makes a better shot opportunity for you. And if you're not comfortable with heights, it makes it a lot easier for you because you're not nervous and freaking out about that. Then sometimes you need to, depending on where your shooting lane is, so say I'm looking for them to go through here, then I need to angle myself just right. So I can wrap around the tree a little bit or whatever I need to do. So for the sake of this video, I'm only about 10 feet up to my hips. It's not too high. So now that I'm up in the tree, I'm taking my time, right? I'm comfortable with standing up, just getting my feet underneath me, getting used to the setup, getting used to the environment. Now I can put my bow holder up. No need in pulling your bow up until your bow holder's set up. Cool. Alrighty, so now we're in the tree. I have my platform here and I have the other portion of my climber on the other side just so it's out of the way for this longbow setup. Now we're gonna walk through taking some shots and just taking some practice. All right, so one thing I'm working on is getting used to trusting my saddle during my shots, which is definitely something that takes time, and it's something you don't get really the full effect until you're up at climbing height. Now we're gonna take some practice shots on this piggy down here, and we'll work on some things. Cool, so things I'm already realizing is my bridge height is way too high. So I'm gonna work that down a bit and get that out of the way. So things I need to learn are what height I like my tether to be, because if they're too high, then it's all up in the way of my bow when I shoot. Whew. So now what we're going to do is get down, reposition, and then take another set of awkward shots. I think I'm running out of light here, so I'll do one more set and I'll show you just some weird positions of opportunities that typically people don't practice. That ain't too bad. Most of those are good kills. And if you see how high up I wasn't too crazy high, but I had some good backdrop. It's not optimal, but for the video it's fine. You can see where my bow is up there. That bow blends in pretty good to that tree. That's kind of cool. Alrighty, so now it's getting near in the shooting light, and you get a hog walking right up under you about 6 yards right below you. Something you don't practice a lot because everybody wants to shoot at 30 yards and whatnot, but it's something you got to practice. So we're going to take some shots on it, some close-up shots, and you'll learn a lot of what's hitting you, and what's catching you up is your gear and what's hitting your body, the string. It's going to be all up in your way, so we'll do some practice here. So it's good to practice going through your motion to getting your bow off your bow hook and getting to draw as quiet as possible, as smoothly as possible. These are nice and easy shots if you don't let the mental get in the way of it. It may be beneficial too to stand up on your own balance and be able to just get a shot over. Cool. I'm content with that. Well, y'all, appreciate y'all sticking around to the end of the video. Hopefully you learned a thing or two about how to prepare for the season in terms of getting used to the gear you got. If you spend a bunch of money on new gear, October 1st shouldn't be the first day you pull out that gear and practice. If you got a bunch of hand-me-down gear, get used to it too. Be safe, use your harnesses, use your climbers and stuff in safe fashions. Make sure it's in working order before October 1st. and get out there, practice, because shooting at altitude is way different than shooting at sea level, and shooting at angles is all different. So get out there and practice, get comfortable with your gear, shooting at weird positions and stuff, because if there's anything you've learned through watching YouTube or actually being in the moment, nothing ever happens as planned, and you can plan out where this deer is going to walk out on you, and it's probably always going to be the opposite direction. So get comfortable with the uncomfortable, get out there and practice, and subscribe. And I got a new video coming out soon about my climbing saddle setup, and I'll explain how I made that. It's not too crazy, but it'll be something pretty interesting for you to watch. So I'll see y'all later.